what is going on with the $100 million contract that on the eve of the election, they were waiting to award. They have filed questions in the parliament. They are sending advocates all over the place to find out why their favored contractor, who was on the verge of receiving that contract, has not received a letter of award. Mr. Speaker, the geographical discrimination, they saw it fit for a $100 million program for select communities in the north of Trinidad, while South, Central and East and the far southwestern peninsula continue to suffer, if not for weeks, but for months on end for water in this country. Mr. Speaker, that program went under review. You know why it went under review? Because I have a Prime Minister that tells me, she said, what South gets, North must also get. There will be no discrimination in my government. Make sure the programs are across the board. I heard my colleagues speak about Tobago. Let me tell you what's going on in Tobago, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the problem in Tobago is that there are a number of pumps. And you know what we inherited in Tobago? Mr. Speaker, there are almost 24 pumps that operates the systems in Tobago, the booster stations, etc. But in Tobago, only one pump, when we came in, has been functional. And what they do is that they disconnect under the PNM, they would disconnect the one pump and have it roving every 2 weeks to different parts of Tobago. That is what we inherited. We have been in the process of procuring new pumps. And you may ask, why is it taking so long? The pumps that the former administration procured, Mr. Speaker, you can't get parts for them. You don't know where they sourced it from because you cannot get those models anymore. But they gave contracts to friends, family and financier. And I heard one colleague speak about Warner. That was the favored contractor in Tobago. So therefore, when they ask about WASA and they ask about major infrastructural development work that was stymied in Tobago, it was because the Honourable Prime Minister at that time, the member for Diego Martin West at that time, who had his favored friend pocketing FUL license to run across to Tobago to hand deliver it to him, hand delivering state contracts. Mr. Speaker, those were the people who were benefiting from the largest of the state, while people in Tobago had to depend on one pump servicing an entire island. The Honourable Prime Minister has told me, Barry, you have to find the money, work with Minister of Finance. We have sent over the CEO and Chairman of WASA just recently to meet with the Chief Secretary, and I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, and give you the assurance that we are working with our counterparts across there to fix that challenge. We have demonstrated that we have the political will to do in 1 year what they could not do in 10 years. Because they were only interested in friend, family and financier receiving contract. Mr. Speaker, when we tell you that this $351 million allocated to WASA to increase the personnel supply at WASA on short-term contracts is in some of these specialized areas for new projects. Mr. Speaker, I would allow one of my colleagues, I know I'm ably assisted, my time is short, but I would allow my colleague from Lebre and my colleague from Kumoto Manzanilla to share with you all of the water projects that have started and will continue. I want to tell the people of Central Trinidad, they were telling my colleague in Caroni Central, when we are completed with the water treatment plant in Freeport, in your own constituency, I give you the assurance, by the end of the year, the people of Central Trinidad will stop suffering for water in this country. I could tell my colleague in Mayaro and Maruga Tableland and in Siparia, when we are finished with that desalination and transmission line in those areas, the people of those areas will see significant progress. I can tell my colleagues, the ones in Diego Martin, I heard Diego Martin Central say, well, you know, the minister does respond. I want to tell you what we endured on this side of the House. We would write letters, and I heard colleagues opposite speak about it, where we write into the minister. We keep an open line of communication, despite our colleagues being in opposition, That did not occur between 2015 to 2025. They never had the decency to respond to a letter. The member for Couva North, myself, local government, the areas where there's direct delivery in terms of infrastructure, we keep in touch with them. We give them an update of what is happening, Mr. Speaker. We did not have that luxury while we were in opposition. Mr. Speaker, the personnel department of WASA is being supplemented, yes, but it is required at this time so that we can reinforce the amount of work that is happening inside of WASA. We are fixing a very lethargic, systematically challenged set of problems inside of the organization, but finally we are getting the square pegs out of the round holes.